Someone once said, if your voice is loud, some people will listen. But if your message is strong, everyone will pay attention. Hi everyone, welcome Tat channel, and today I have an inspiring story for you.
Someone once said, if there are branches, flowers and leaves will follow. This simple yet profound truth reminds us that life moves according to its own rhythm. And as long as we have a strong foundation, good things will come. Life is like a tree. Sometimes it stands bare in the harsh winter, looking lifeless and hopeless. But when spring arrives, new buds emerge and flowers bloom in their full glory. The struggles, setbacks and hardships we face are just like the passing winter testing our patience and faith. If we remain steadfast and resilient, blessings will come in their own time. Dr. Patnick's journey reflects this truth. When his flight was delayed, when the storm blocked his path, he was frustrated and upset. Yet, he had no idea that these very obstacles were guiding him to where he was truly needed, a small house where a sick child was waiting for a miracle. What seemed like bad luck or an unfair twist of fate was actually a meaningful plan unfolding before him. So, no matter how difficult today may be, don't lose faith. The storms in life are not meant to break us, they are meant to shape us. Keep moving forward, keep believing, and one day, flowers will bloom on the very branches you once thought were barren. Dr. Patnick was a successful, wealthy man with a carefully planned life. He was used to control, to having everything go according to his schedule. That day, he rushed to the airport, his heart pounding with urgency. A crucial conference awaited him, and he was the keynote speaker a man admired, a man people wanted to hear. But then, the sky darkened, and heavy rain poured down as if testing human patience. The plane could not continue its journey and had to land at an unfamiliar airport. Frustration boiled inside him. Why is this happening to me? He wondered. Everything had been perfectly planned, yet here he was, caught in an uncontrollable mess, with no other choice. He reluctantly took a taxi, instructing the driver to go as fast as possible. But fate had other plans. The storm grew worse, visibility dropped, and soon, the driver admitted he was lost. Anger rose within Dr. Patnick again, but this time, he simply sighed. He was starting to realize that not everything in life could be controlled, and in that moment of surrender, destiny led him to a place he never expected, a small house in the middle of a raging storm, where an elderly woman was praying for a miracle that he out of all people was meant to deliver. The taxi pushed forward through the blinding rain. The sound of raindrops pounded against the windshield. The wind howled through the cracks, as if nature itself was unleashing its fury. The driver bit his lip before nervously admitting, "Sir, I think we're lost." Dr. Patnick no longer had the energy to be angry. He sighed, staring out the window. It was too late to do anything else, and he had no choice but to wait. When they spotted a small house flickering with dim light in the middle of the storm, the driver suggested stopping there for shelter. Reluctantly, he agreed. The old wooden door creaked open, and a warm but weary voice welcomed them. "Come in. The storm outside is strong." Standing before them was an elderly woman with kind eyes. Behind her, in a simple, humble room, a child lay motionless on the bed. Under the soft glow of an oil lamp, his face looked pale, his breathing weak. The woman poured them tea with a gentle smile and said, "My grandson is very sick. The doctors here can't help him. I pray every day for a miracle. They say there is a great doctor in Delhi named Patnick, but I am just a poor old woman. How could I ever bring my grandson to him?" Dr. Patnick froze. The storm, a delayed flight, the wrong turn, everything felt like an invisible force guiding him here. His eyes filled with emotion as he took the woman's hands and whispered, "Mother, your prayers have been answered." "I am Dr. Patnick." Tears streamed down the woman's face, and in the heart of that stormy night, a miracle truly happened. Dr. Patnick looked at the frail child lying motionless on the bed. His pale skin, his weak breaths, everything signaled that he was teetering on the edge between life and death. A deep ache filled the doctor's heart. He had saved countless patients in his career, but for the first time, he truly understood he was not just a doctor. He was the answer to someone's desperate prayers. The elderly woman grasped his hands tightly, tears streaming down her wrinkled face. "My son, thank you. I have prayed endlessly, and God has sent you to us. Sometimes, we think we are lost, but in reality, we are simply being led to where we are meant to be." Her words struck something deep within Dr. Patnick. He recalled his frustration when his flight was delayed, his impatience when the taxi lost its way, and his anger when all his carefully laid plans fell apart. But now, standing here, he realized that without those obstacles, he would never have ended up in this place where he was truly needed. Life is full of unexpected turns, ones we cannot foresee. We may feel anger, helplessness, or disappointment when things don't go our way. But what if those detours are actually guiding us toward our true purpose? That night, in the warmth of that small, humble home, Dr. Patnick finally understood sometimes the obstacles we resent the most are simply miracles in disguise. For that night, in a small house amidst the raging storm, Dr. Patnick felt something he had never truly realized before. Life is unpredictable, but everything happens for a reason. If the plane hadn't been forced to land, if the taxi hadn't lost its way, if the storm hadn't swept through, he would have never ended up here in a place where a child needed him more than anyone else in the world. He suddenly understood that sometimes what we see as obstacles are actually unseen hands guiding us to where we are meant to be. Sitting by the child's bedside, he gently checked his pulse, listened to his shallow breaths, and thought to himself, I have rushed through so many roads, stood in grand halls, spoken to countless people, but never have I felt my presence matter this much. The elderly woman held his hand tightly, her tear-filled eyes shining with unwavering faith. You came, which means God never abandons anyone. He has his own ways. As Dr. Patnick watched the child's small fingers twitch ever so slightly, a feeling washed over him, one that no wealth or success could ever bring. A feeling of connection, a feeling of true purpose. Life often tests us with winding roads, but if we trust the journey and have patience, miracles will always be waiting. At the end,